Hello. Just thought I'd touch base, say hello. Um, I haven't done a video in quite a while, and it's difficult sometimes to gather my thoughts that I want to express, and it's more or less just trying not to be repetitive, and every day I'm trying to learn. I'm trying to grow, and some of the things that I've been looking into here the last couple of months have really taken things for me to a completely different sort of direction, I guess. When I first got on social media and I first started using the social media platform, it's because I had just barely scratched the surface of some of these malevolent programs that are out there that are designed to, ensnare, enslave, and trap humanity. And, when I first began my journey, it was a journey of discovery into, the poison of fluoride, or, seeing the chemtrails or the stratospheric aerosol injections, and trying to research into what those are. And, that included some of the ancient alien technologies, and then, of course, discovering the process in which humans were created. And it's all interconnected. Everything is interconnected. When you start to look into some of these fluoridation programs and some of the aerosol programs, and there's many layers to them. However, it all meets at one sort of crux, or the sort of the underlying goal is to prevent humans from understanding exactly what we are capable of. I've learned that, I saw several things where water has sort of this memory, and frequencies, and how sound frequencies can actually create planets and create, everything is sound frequency. It's a vibrational frequency. And I heard somebody who described there's sort of like this morphogenic field, or this energy field. And for those of you who know Star Wars, the Force is such a great analogy, that this energy field, it's been called chi, it's been called prana, it's been called reiki, it's been called vril, it's been called orgone, it's been called the morphogenic field, it's been called the Force. Whatever name you give it, it's this sort of energy resonance that surrounds and binds and connects everyone, everything. And so this field, you have sort of a vibrational energetic resonance from the earth, and then you have this vibrational energetic resonance from the surrounding atmosphere, or sort of the surrounding field around the earth. And in ancient days, those energies sort of coalesced and they agreed, whereas a lot of the programs now are designed to prevent those, and they interfere with each other. And so it's an analogy that was used was like a tree. You know, when you look at a tree, what you see above ground is mirrored below ground. So you have this sort of antenna array of the bough of the tree with all the leaves, and then you have the trunk, which transfers that what that antenna array receives from the morphogenic field. And then you have the root system, which is another antenna array in the earth. And so the trees sort of created this transducer or transceiver that allowed those energies to intermingle. And so when they began to, chop down the rainforests and the logging industries, and so it pulled a lot of those antennas down, and it pulled a lot of the information that we would receive through the earth, through the morphogenic field, through the force. And the trees are being removed to make way for buildings, to make way for the concrete jungle. Well, that was the analogy. Now, if you were to look at humans, if we raise our hands above our heads, that's an antenna array. And we put our feet to the ground, that's an antenna array. And so we actually have the ability to connect and act as an antenna array or as a transceiver between the earth energy and the cosmic energy. Now, the reason I say this is because when humans were created, about the time of Homo habilis and Homo erectus, those were the creatures that were on the earth that had a connection to the earth consciousness. It's why you see animals that are born with instinct. They have this instinct, and they behave alongside the earth's biorhythms. And so these biorhythms affect the natural biorhythms of the animals on the planet. That's how they know when to migrate. It's how they know when to mate. It's how they know when to, do all the things that animals do. Nobody ever teaches them how to do it. They're born with it. And that's where Homo habilis, Homo erectus had that connection. Well, when they were genetically manipulated by non-terrestrials, those non-terrestrials had the cosmic awareness. They had been infused with the immortal cosmic awareness, or the infinite, no beginning, no end. Whereas the indigenous hominids had been imbued with the mortal consciousness. So once those two were fused, the hybrid that was created had the ability to connect the Earth's energetic consciousness to the cosmic infinite awareness. And in doing so, that gives each of us an incredible amount of power for either positive or negative. If you could imagine if you could imagine the candlelight, and when the room is dark, right? The room is dark. But you spark that candle and you ignite that candle. Well, now that candle has sort of a glow or illumination that radiates from it. And so now if you were to take and you have that sort of that ball or that sphere that encases each one of us is a candlelight. And so we're able to take that energy from the earth connected with the cosmos and radiate that in a certain distance. Well, that radiation can be either positive or negative. And those who are manipulating events understand the true power And they understand that the more negative they keep the radiating part of humanity, the more that negativity affects the next sphere that it comes in contact with. So if you can imagine, each of us have this surrounding sort of light glow. As those interact with each other, they can either become extremely negative. So if you had a room full of people that were just standing there, and somebody irradiating truly positive energy and behaving in that manner, well, before you know it, the whole room is positive, upbeat, energetic, dancing, laughing, having fun. But now you take that same group of people in a different room and you bring in somebody that is completely negative, and before you know it, everybody in the room is at each other's throats and they're ready to just stomp each other out. And I think that's what you're seeing happening in the world today, is the amount of negative energy that we're being manipulated into creating, because we have the ability to create our own reality. And that's where the link between the cosmic and the earth comes from, or what we can affect. And so we don't even realize that we're creating the negative reality that we're living in. So when you're seeing the mainstream media and, every night you're looking at the news and they're leading off with somebody got murdered, or somebody got robbed, or somebody got raped, or somebody got beat up, or somebody, or they're taking away health care for everybody, and, the 15 people were killed in the war, or Korea is aiming nukes at us, or whatever the case may be. If you notice, those headlines that they lead with are always of a negative nature. And so now people, they see these headlines, they read this little snippet, and it's, oh, Korea is going to kill us. Well, now we start to interact with each other, and we're spreading that fear and that negativity. And so then that just creates a larger sphere of influence, and before you know it, that reality is created, because we are so fearful and negative that projects, and we have that ability collectively to shape that reality. And, I may be going off on a little bit of an esoteric tangent here, but it's things that I'm learning, that the absolute key to, sort of getting us to that critical mass is people interacting with each other in such a way that it generates a positive reality. Yes, things may be occurring that can be considered negative. Things can be occurring that can be, frustrating or fearful. But you know what? None of that really matters, because we collectively have the ability to create a reality that we want, or that is beneficial for all. And so it's like I've tried to do for myself is I try to remember something that I love to do, or the people that I love to be around. And I try to remember the feeling that I had, not the activity or the interaction or the memory from that interaction, but the feeling that I had. And I try to soak in that feeling, let it imbue into every cell of my body, and then try to radiate that out. So for me, it's when I'm mountain biking. If I'm cruising down that downhill and I'm back and forth and I'm thinking of nothing but the sheer joy, and I soak in that feeling and then try to radiate that out. So I hope I'm radiating that out to you now. And thank you for listening to my ramblings. And I certainly hope and appreciate everyone. I hope that everyone here has a wonderful, wonderful day. And I really appreciate your time. Thank you so much, and I hope this helps.